Vasudevaya. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 1, verse number 31 to 38. Athasmad amsa bhutaste atmajaloka vishruta bhavitaronga bhadram te vishrapshanti cha te yasha. Athasmad amsa bhutaste atmajaloka vishruta. अच्छे से आवाज में आ रहा है। भावितारोंग भद्रंते विश्रप्स्यन्ति च ते यशा। अथास्मदं सभूतस्ता आत्मजालोकविश्रुता भावितारोंग भद्रं ते विश्रप्स्यन्ति च ते यशा। अथास्मदं सभूतस्ते आत्मजालोकविश्रुता भवितारोंग भद्रं ते विश्रप्स्यन्ति च ते यशा। अथास्मदंश भूतस्ते आत्मजालोकविश्रुता भवितारोंग भद्रं ते विश्रप्स्यन्ति च ते यशः। अथा therefore अस्मत् our amsabhutah plenary expansion te your atmajah sons loka vishrutah very famous in the world bhavitarah in the future will be born anga dear great sage bhadram all good fortune te unto you vishrapsyanti will spread cha also te your yashaha reputation. Translations and purport by His Divine Grace His Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada teacher. You will have sons who will represent a partial manifestation of our potency, and because we desire all fortune to you, those sons will glorify your reputation throughout the world. So this is there is Atri Muni and there is Anusuya. Anusuya was one of the daughter of Devahuti and Kadama Muni, and Anusuya got married to Atri Muni, and Atri Muni performed severe tapa austerity to have the Lord as the son, and then all the three personalities they appear to Atri Muni. And then Atri Muni was a little bit confused. Atri Muni was thinking that I was doing my tapas to have a son like the Lord, and I was calling out to the Lord, and why have all three of you manifested together? Then they all pacified him and they said, your desires will certainly be fulfilled, and you will have sons who will represent our potency. And these three were Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. And then Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, they all said, because we desire all good fortune to you. That also shows that actually even, any pure devotee, he desires good fortune for all of us. And Brahma and Shiva are pure devotees of the Lord. So Narayan, obviously he desired good fortune for us. So they all three appeared and they said, we all three desire all good fortune for you. Those sons will glorify your reputation throughout the world. And they were very powerful sons. Evam kama varam dattva prati jagmu sureshwara Sabhajitastayo samyar dampatyo Mishatostata. Thus, while the couple looked on, the three deities, Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara, disappeared from that place after bestowing upon Atriman the benediction. So they said that we will give you our partial manifestation as your sons, and they will glorify you throughout the three words. And after saying this, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, they disappeared. समोऽभूद्ब्रह्मणों सेना दत्तो विष्णुस्तु योगवे दुर्वासा शङ्करस्यांशो निबोधाङ्गिरसा प्रजा. Thereafter, from the partial representation of Brahma, the moon god was born to them. From the partial representation of Vishnu, the great mystic Dattatreya was born, and from the partial representation of Shankara, Lord Shiva, Durvasa was born. Now you may hear from me um, of the many sons of Angira. So, um, who is the father of demigods, the mother of demigods?
No, Aditi.
Aditi. But all the demigods?
No, only 12.
Only 12. And other are all born from different. Like here from Atri Muni son is uh, uh,
So much.
and he was just a child. But later on, he took the post of ruling the moon planet. So it's just like a progeny. Like, some mother here may also give birth, and later on he may take over and rule the whole earth. So likewise, they just gave birth to a small child. When he grew up, he was very capable, and then he took over. And they are devatas. So that's why very clear that they are living entities, but empowered, because he is not ordinary. He is manifestation of Brahma's potential. That's all. So how many daughters Devahuti had?
9.
9. And who is the first daughter? First daughter was Kala, whom we discussed previously. And there's a second daughter who was Anusuya. And Anusuya gave birth to Dattatreya, Soma, and Durvasa Muni. Durvasa Muni is representation of Lord Shiva.
Lord Shiva.
श्रद्धा अंगिरसा पत्नी चातश्रो सुत कन्यका शिनीवाली कुहूराका चतुर्थी अनुमतिस्तथा. Angira's wife Shraddha gave birth to 4 daughters, namely Sinivali, Kuhu, Raka, and Anumati. So Shraddha is another sister of Anusuya and Kala. So this is the third daughter. And she got married to Angira. It is said that all the 9 daughters they married to the 9 sages who were sons of Brahma. And then great progeny came, except we will see. Huh? Tatputra aparavashtam khyatau swaroshi chentare utathyo bhagavan sakshat Brahmishthascha Brihaspati. Besides these 4 daughters, she also had another 2 sons. One of them was known as Utathya, and the other was the learned scholar Brihaspati. And who was Brihaspati?
Guru of
Guru of Devatas. He was also born in the same dynasty.
Guru of Devta.
Yeah. Guru of demons is?
Shukracharya.
Shukracharya.
He is also seen Raghunath.
वो भी आते हैं यहाँ पे.
प्रभु जी इतना सारा एक साथ में पूरा है क्या ये लाइक आपने 4-1 से शुरू
ये पूरा
3-1 से लेकर 3-8 तक पूरा एक है क्या?
Because no purport.
ओके.
If no purport, then we continue till Prabhupada nectar comes, then we stop it. Okay. So Kala, and then the second daughter was Anusuya. Then the third daughter was Shraddha. And Shraddha's husband is Angira. And husband of Anusuya is Atri. Okay. And how many sons and daughters Shraddha had?
5. 3 daughters, 3 sons.
4.
4
daughters.
So 4 daughters, 3 sons.
And one of them, the highlight is Brihaspati was born to Shraddha. Pulastyo janayat putnyam agastyam cha havirbhuvi Sonya Janmani Daharagne Vishravacha Mahatapa. Pulasya begot in his wife Havirbhu. And who is Havirbhu?
One again sister of
Yeah, sister of Shraddha.
Oh, fourth sister.
This is the uh,
Hmm.
Kala,
Kala,
then Anusuya,
Shraddha, and
Shraddha, and now
Havirbhu.
Havirbhu. And
Four sisters.
total 9 will come.
Oh, अच्छा.
Not today, but today one more will come after this. So then he got Havirbhu got married to Pulasya. And Havirbhu begot in his wife, oh no, Pulasya begot in his wife Havirbhu one son of the name Agastya Muni.
Hmm.
You remember Agastya Muni?
Yeah.
Where do you remember it?
Gajendra story, Ramayana story.
Ramayana story also. It
Yeah.
comes.
Yeah.
And do you remember Pulasya?
Yeah, he said the Bhagwan, definition of Bhagwan.
That was
Pulas, Parashar. Pulas,
father of Govardhan.
That is Parashar Muni.
Parasar Muni is father of Vedas.
Ved-
Pulasya, you see, I think he comes in Govardhan first time also.
And I think he was also coming, he come in this Parikshit Maharaj somewhere, Pulasya Muni comes.
In Ravan's dynasty also, na Prabhu?
Ravan dynasty Pulasya come.
I think forefather.
I think next
Next one is yes.
Pulasya.
Yes. Thank you, Mother.
Yeah, Ram.
His generation. Janan Prabhu. So you will speak about Janan Prabhu. Yeah, we'll speak something about Janan Prabhu, Shyam Kishore Prabhu's order to speak something about Janan Prabhu. But this does not have life like me. This
I think once just
Hare Krishna.
yeah,
It has life.
yeah, buyer. I think buyer.
I think it's barely surviving life. Hare Krishna.
We are able to hear you, Prabhu.
Yeah, but Shyam Kishore Prabhu is at the altar. This is a special day of Shyam Kishore Prabhu. Okay, Prabhu, thank you. So Pulasya begot in his wife Havirbhu. Havirbhu son was Agastya, who in his next birth became Daharagni. Besides him, Pulasya. So who became Daharagni? Agastya Muni.
We had next birth also.
Yeah. Besides him, Pulasya begot another very great and saintly son whose name was Vishrava. So Pulasya and Havirbhu begot Agastya and Vishrava. And now comes a special verse.
Ram.
Tasya yaksha patirdeva kuberastva idavida ravana kumbhakarnascha tathanyasya vibhishana. This is about me, Prabhuji. Vishrava had two wives. The first wife was Idavida, from whom Kuvera, the master of all yakshas, was born, and the next wife was named Keshini, from whom three sons were born: Ravana, Kumbhakarna, and Vibhishan. So their mother was Keshini, and Keshini husband was,
Vishrava.
and Vishrava father was
So the grandfather of Ravan.
Ravan. So that's why I said, he was born in Brahmana family and great dynasty he came from. But, nonetheless.
But
Lineage
Kesini
वही
was
है.
demon.
Huh?
Kesini was demon.
हाँ,
That is why he got the
Keshini was
demon.
demons.
तो अगर विश्रवा ने दो वाइफ से शादी नहीं किया तो एक ही वाइफ होती तो अच्छा रहता तो फिर महाभारत में वो रामायण
And then Kuvera relationship with Ravana is
Cousin.
cousin brother. Both have same father. And then Ravana stole that Viman from Kuvera.
अच्छा पुष्पक
He stole from Kuvera. क्योंकि भाई थे, cousin भाई, and he was like demoniac. And Kuvera like, all right, जाने दो. So that also shows like how devatas have different origins. Kuvera is also like a devta gana, but he is a yaksha, leader of the yaksha, and then moon god comes differently and Indra comes differently.
तो
हम
वेरी नाइसली एक्सप्लेन ये तो पूरा 31 से लेकर 38 पूरा
आणि पस्तीस ते पूरा अच्छा है
हाँ dynasty.
both canto में okay.
But something else also came to my mind. Anyways, पुलाहस्य गतिर् भार्या प्रेम अश्रुता सती सुतान् कर्मश्रेष्ठं वरीयांसं सहिष्णुं च महामते. Gati. And who is Gati?
wife of Pulaha.
another
Take
sister
Pulaha.
of Shraddha.
Shraddha.
So
Shraddha.
पांचवी sister हो गई.
हाँ. So how many are there? Gati we discussed. We are discussing Gati, then Shraddha, then Anusuya,
Hmm.
then
Then
Kala,
Havilbhu.
and Havilbhu.
Havilbhu was fourth, not
Fourth.
Gati.
हाँ Gati is the fifth.
Fifth.
तो 5 बहन हो गई.
5 बहन.
बाकी 4 बहन के लिए फॉलो अप फॉर फ्यूचर भागवतम क्लासेस.
आज ये लास्ट है क्या? ये 8 है.
क्योंकि परपोर्ट आ गया. So Gati, the wife of the sage Pulaha, gave birth to 3 sons named Karmashrestha, Variyan, and Sahishnu, and all of them were great sages. Gati, the wife of Pulaha, साउंड नहीं आ रहा.
पता नहीं.
कोशिश तो मैं कर रहा हूँ साउंड निकालने का. पर Gati, the wife of Pulaha, was the 5th daughter of Kadama Muni. She was very faithful to her husband, and all her sons were as good as he. So, 5th daughter of. Oh, wow, bro.
अब
अब तो
उनका हाथ लग
वो
गया.
जादू कर दिया है.
Gati, the wife of
Yeah.
Pulaha, was the 5th daughter of Kardama Muni. She was very faithful to her husband, and all her sons were as good as he. So, all right, that's all for today's Bhagavatam class. They were.
Nityananda Prabhu
Huh?
पास पे.
Jayanand Prabhu's pastor. Yeah, so Jayanand Prabhu was a great Vaishnava. Jayanand Prabhu, one of the early disciples of Srila Prabhupada. In fact, he is the only disciple of Srila Prabhupada who left his body in presence of Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada instructed that Jayanand Prabhu's name should be there in Vaishnava calendar. Now, from today's perspective, there are so many saints who should be there in Vaishnava calendar. Like
age क्या थी when he left the body?
he was like late 30s or 40s,
Okay.
very young. But then he got some sort of cancer, something like that. And then he left the body. But his service attitude is greatly glorified, and he was one of the shining disciples of Srila Prabhupada. And it is said that most of the people during Prabhupada time were like hippies, but he was a mechanical engineer from Ohio State University. So it was very surprising. And then he took a job as a cab driver in San Francisco. So when people asked him, "You are a mechanical engineer from Ohio State University, why are you running a cab in San Francisco?" So he said, "I don't get along with high class people." So because by nature he was like he wanted to live a humble life, a simple life. So after education, he took a cab driving, but he was always unsatisfied and feeling emptiness in his heart. So one day he read a paper, San Francisco paper, and there was an ad of a Swami from India, Bhaktivedanta Swami, giving lectures in Bauri. So then he found a ray of hope because he was looking for some sort of fulfillment, feeling very empty in his life. And it is said that Janan Prabhu describes that he was almost at the suicidal phase when he was driving his cab and he was not finding any rasa in his life. So when he saw that article, he thought it's worth trying. And then he went to the Bauri where Srila Prabhupada was giving Bhagavad Gita lectures Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then Sunday feast also Prabhupada started. So many hippies were coming. And it is said he was the only straight person. Like everybody was like in 19s and 20s, teenagers and 20s. And Jayanan Prabhu is like in his 30s. And he was like well mannered, like normal person. And others who would come, they're like and they're smoking. And then he's like well to do, although he's a cab driver, but in his mannerism, he was a gentleman. So he was well to do. But um, Janet Prabhu said that he was not very religious, but somehow he loved Srila Prabhupada very much and he wanted to listen to Srila Prabhupada. So evening there will be a lot of different kind of ground. So Janet Prabhu would prefer coming to morning classes, Bhagavatam classes, because during that time all the hippies were asleep. And and it is said that sometimes Srila Prabhupada was giving lecture and the only person sitting was Janet Prabhu. So that shows also Prabhupada's determination to keep the morning program go on and alone. And it is said that if he was the only, this is hippies probably, it's not like cultured Indians. And Srila Prabhupada, in order to continue the culture, Prabhupada was always like enthusiastic and self-driven. It is also mentioned that sometimes Prabhupada would give, like Shyamananda Prabhu was mentioning, he said, we think Srila Prabhupada, when we think of Srila Prabhupada, we think all glories. But then at that time also there were many difficulties and Prabhupada faced many challenges and many were not taking interest in Krishna consciousness. But because Prabhupada's glories were so high that everything is like we don't see that. But sometimes he would go and give classes and nobody would come in the university. And this is example of Bhagavatam where only Jain and Prabhupada was enthusiastic and driven to keep giving. So we are also following the footsteps of Prabhupada. Sometimes people speak and nobody is there.
Yeah, nobody.
And sometimes devotees are there. But it's just
So, like before Jananda Prabhu came into the association of Prabhupada, there must be some times when he was maybe alone in the Bhagavatam class.
No.
All the hippies were sleeping.
so. And Jain Prabhu had a very close relationship. And Prabhupada would, Jain Prabhu says that this is very early days. Prabhupada came to San Francisco in 1967. 1966, Prabhupada came to the West. And Prabhupada stayed there for a few months and then Prabhupada left. So for a short time only Prabhupada was there. And Prabhupada would give Bhagavatam class. Before Bhagavatam class, Prabhupada would cook. And after Bhagavatam class, Prabhupada would make Jain Prabhu sick and Prabhupada would feed him. So in that way, Jain Prabhu received very personal association. Like one of the very disciples and very close. And Prabhupada would feed him to his neck. And this would happen every day. So naturally, by service, when we rent a service to somebody, we come dear to others. When we rent a service to them. So Jain Prabhu just loved Prabhupada association. And then slowly, after coming regularly to Bhagavatam classes and chanting 16 rounds, then Srila Prabhupada initiated him and he got the name Jayananda Das. And his whole life he served in San Francisco temple. And he continued driving his cab during the initial time. Later on, he joined full time. So initially, he continued his cab, and after Srila Prabhupada left, when he came for the second time, then Janan Prabhu has a life saving of $5,000. That was a huge amount in 1960, $5,000. Still, today also $5,000 is valuable even today. But that time, $5,000 and all that he earned from his life saving as a cab driver. And when Swamiji came, then Jayan Prabhu says, Swamiji, this is for the Prabhupada said that we are trying to find sponsorship to print Bhagavad Gita as it is. So Jayan Prabhu, he looked in his account, he has $5,000 and he told Swamiji, this is what I have in my life saving for printing Bhagavad Gita as it is. So Prabhupada was so grateful. And then San Francisco, if I believe that is the first Rath Yatra, right?
Yeah.
And initially it was built by Malti Prabhu's husband, Shyam Sundar Prabhu. But later on, every year, Jayanand Prabhu. Shyam Sundar Prabhu started traveling with Srila Prabhupada. And he was a personal servant of Srila Prabhupada even. And Shyam Sundar Prabhu, along with Malti Prabhu, they went to England. And after that, one who took over that Rath Yatra every year was Jain Prabhu. And he would build it every year, the Rath. And there, eventually Jain Prabhu joined full time. And it is said that he would very tirelessly work And among all the angas of bhakti, the one which Janan Prabhu loved the most was preaching. And Janan Prabhu, one devotee says that Janan Prabhu, he came back from a preaching program at 11:30 p.m. in the night. And then he realized that tomorrow there was some problem in Sankirtan van, and tomorrow they had to leave. So Jayan Prabhu, after coming back, then he was found, all the devotees went to sleep, and then he was found lying on his back under the Sankirtan van and fixing it. And then it is said that he was the last one to um, go to bed and the first one to rise in the morning. And he was seen strictly sitting and chanting his names. And for him, there was no afternoon nap also. It's a little bit different for brahmacharis now.
Did you visit India? No.
No. I mean, I don't know, but no mention from what I read about Jain Prabhu. Then another night, the next day was Rath Yatra. So the previous day, Jain Prabhu was running behind, getting all the whatever is needed, whatever was missing. He was running whole day with one of the devotee friends, Taran Prabhu. Then they both came back at midnight. And when they came back, there was no place to sleep. I was thinking, wow, that was Vishla Prabhupada's time. No place to in temple hall. People are sleeping in Prashadam hall in the rooms everywhere. People were sleeping because it was packed with devotees. So then Karatha Prabhu, when they were looking, then they found there was a closet where you hang the coats. So in closet there was just sufficient space. Coats are up, down is free space. So he just put his bedding down and then he adjusted in the closet to sleep. Karatha Prabhu. And then Jalan Prabhu, you take this, I'll be back in a moment. Then Karan Prabhu asked him, where are you going? He says, I'll be back. And he said, where are you going? Then he, after persuading him so much, he says, actually, I have some chanting remaining. But he didn't want to say because he didn't want the devotee to feel that like somebody is doing super extra devotional service, put some pressure on the core devotees who are there. So he wanted him to take rest and not create pressure for him. So I'll be back in a minute. So it is said that Janak Prabhu was very faithful to Srila Prabhupada's instructions. And then he never missed around. And Janak Prabhu, everybody loved Janak Prabhu because his behavior was very friendly and loving. And whoever he would see, he would love feeding them prasad. Whatever Srila Prabhupada did to him by cooking and feeding him, he would make a lot of prasad and he would distribute a lot of prasad. After Sunday feast is over, he would take all the leftover prasad from Sunday feast, go out and do book distribution and Sankirtan. So he was always on fire. What we do is like Sunday feast is over and like, oh, now it's great. But then he was like tirelessly, he was serving from morning till night. And he said, as soon as morning program is over, he would immediately take a group of devotees who were there and go for Sankirtan book distribution and Prasadam distribution. And then starting from when he was there in the temple, starting from cooking to um, construction to this, like any home fixes, van fixes or whatever. So he was like all round. He would do everything. He would tirelessly work. And those who were like sannyasis during that time, during Srila Prabhupada time, they would consider Janan Prabhu as the most advanced devotee. Otherwise, why would Srila Prabhupada say he should be in Vaishnava calendar? And it's a great honor. Like, and today we are discussing about it. We don't discuss about many Srila Prabhupada disciples. But on this day, many temples discuss about the glories of Janan Prabhu. And even today, his picture is there in all the Rath Yatra cards. Because even during the last time when he was with cancer, he had no energy. And when he was, it was the last Rath Yatra. Just after a few days of Rath Yatra, he left the world. And then the wheel was coming out or something. And he had no energy, but he wanted the run to continue. Nobody could notice. So with his hand, he was holding um, axle and the wheel together, pushing. And although he has like um, blood was oozing from him because cancer se घाव हो जाता है. So he was in a terrible state. So he was just holding his arm like this so that no bodily fluids leak. And then with that he was pushing. And just after a few days after that, he left the body. But when Srila Prabhupada saw that, Prabhupada was like, He's not an ordinary soul. Prabhupada also said that. And he was so much loving with his devotees that when one devotee was sleeping, and he was so grateful that he immediately brought a hot samosa. It was midnight, and he told Prabhu, I have some surprise for you. And he like, and then he would open your mouth, he would put and push the samosa in his mouth. So in that way, and then he would make some peanut butter halwa, and he would say, hey, dear Prabhu, check this out. So they say he was a leader also, and he was constant, like a leader is, he would take such good care of the devotees that they all loved Janan. And one time a new bhakta came, somebody new came to San Francisco temple. He went inside the temple and he asked, can I do some service? So he said, yeah, outside you can help with the trash. So he went outside and he saw that time the trash was not like now we have this, and every week one truck comes and put the trash and goes away. That time it was not the case. It was like all the trash is carried off a week, and then somebody has to put all the trash in a Sankirtan van and go and then dump all the trash. So everything was done by devotees. There were no such systems like arrow waste. So he was loading the trash into Sankirtan when this devotee went out, and he said, and Janan Prabhu was so eager to involve everybody in 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 service. So he took his help. They both jumped, put the trash, and then he accompanied him to dump the trash where the trash main area was. And then he came back, and that devotee joined full time. And he was thinking, this devotee is great. If that person who manages the trash in the temple is so blissful, what about the other all the devotees in the temple? And another time, Jain and Prabhu and one more devotee, they were trying to load the refrigerator into the Sankirtan van because they were doing some service. So they both were not able to lift the refrigerator. So Jain and Prabhu was always on the on his legs or on the wheels, like out preaching and taking a lot of physical endeavor to spread the message. And they both were not able to, they would organize so many events and festivals, so they were not able to upload them. Jain Prabhu, he saw like two drunkards were coming and they were drunk. So Jain Prabhu told his friend, he said, now I will give them a chance to engage in devotional service. Let's see. And then he was so charming. And then, hey guys, you're a help. And then they would both quickly, people, they came and they helped him, Lord. And the Jain Prabhu was finding great joy. He would engage anybody who would come, he would engage them in service. And by serving, they would feel involved with the temple. And then after doing, then he would feed them prasad. And then he would say, now you guys say Hare. He would say Hare. He would say, now you say Krishna. He would say Krishna. Then he would make them chant. He said, thank you guys for your help. Keep coming. This is our Sunday feast program. And he was like constantly, like when he was fixing his Sankirtan van, he saw two people were walking by. They were not able to see him, only his feet was visible and his head is inside. And then he saw from his side two people walking by, and he said, hey guys. And they both stopped. And then he says, have you heard about Hare Krishna? And no, and then while fixing them at midnight, those who were drunkards, while fixing the van, he spoke to them for 1.5 hours. He would find any opportunity to share the message and he would preach. And he would tell everybody, just a little bit, and everything will be all right. So in this way, there are many glorious but
he was the one
introduced by
yeah, you know that story
no
that
tell
one,
repeat.
one day what happened, Jayapataka Sai Maharaj just went to temple and yeah, San Francisco, he went to temple and I think nobody was there to greet him. He just went and he saw and he was walking out and Jan and Prabhu outside, he was doing some, I think chariot or he was making something. He saw the Jayapataka Sai Maharaj, oh, someone is coming out. So he, hey, how are you? Like that he said and called him. And he spoke to Jayapataka Sai Maharaj and he involved him in service also. And Jayapataka Sai Maharaj was so much charmed and so much looking at him, he was so much attracted. He joined full time. And because of him now, Jayapataka Sai Maharaj is doing so much service. Yeah, so that is the story.
So he was the cause behind Jayapataka
Yeah.
Maharaj to join
Yeah, otherwise if he would have he wouldn't have been there. Jayapataka Sahib Maharaj would have just
Left.
came and left, but he stopped and spoke and he engaged in his service, and then Jayapataka Sahib Maharaj.
So when the Prabhu is mentioning about Jayapataka Maharaj, when he came, he was leaving that time. Jaran Prabhu saw somebody came and he called him and he spoke to him, he engaged him in the service. Jayapataka Maharaj, by seeing Jaran Prabhu was related. And Jaran Prabhu was also little elderly compared to all those who would come. But he was so like loving, elder brother kind of attitude. And then by his charm he attracted, and that's how Jayapataka Maharaj got inspired with Shyamananda. Yeah. So that's all we have. Yes, Gajanan Prabhu ki
Jai.
Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing all this.
Yeah, thank you for the
So
Shyamananda Krishna Prabhu.
He Jai.
So Ram Prabhu is doing the same thing, then Jaran Prabhu is doing
Yeah.
the same thing, then happens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shyamananda Prabhu is telling all the devotees that are doing following the footsteps of Janan Prabhu, like Govinda Prabhu and
No,
Shyamananda.
Shamkisha Prabhu is telling that Shaman Krishna Prabhu is doing the same thing with Jain.
Grand Rapids.
And Janan Prabhu actually it is mentioned that he was so humble that if anybody glorifies him, then he would run away. And he was so averse to hearing faults. If anybody speak any fault about anybody, then Prabhu would leave. And he just loved glorifying devotees and loved feeding devotees and encouraging devotees. And when he would engage others, he would do 3 times the work that they would do. And they were very inspired to serve in his association because he was so driven and that was contagious. And he was just exuberant with enthusiasm and running and serving on his toes. So everybody would love to be with him and serve him. And everybody missed the whole day when Jaran Prabhu left. And his disappearance was celebrated of him. And today is his disappearance.
And please also tell us about the new project you are now heading in.
Any other questions on Zoom? Any discussion on Zoom?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for beautifully explaining the wonderful pastimes of Prabhu. That was wonderful. I just had one realization, which was wonderful point you shared. That he saw two drunkards, and then first thing he asked them is, "Hey, can you help?" So he increases security, their security, and then he fed them prasad, and then he gave Hare Krishna Mahamantra, saying that, "Can you chant this?" This was very insightful, Prabhu.
Yes, directly we say chant Hare Krishna, then they may be like, who are you? So first he, like as
First he
Prabhuji
engaged,
mentioned,
then offered prasadam, and then he asked for
and
chant.
during that time, lot of relationship is developed. And then with it, and he was very good at making relationships also. He was very friendly and outgoing. And then he would give Krishna. He loved preaching, being out, and when he was temple, he's constantly serving. When he's outside, he's constantly serving. And he would sleep for very few hours. Somehow in that early stage also, I think must be previous side, that was he was always a seeker. Never want to be a great person. Always want to be a fulfilled person. Thank you, Devaki Prabhuji, for sharing this. Okay, anything else?
I have one question.
You have a question?
Very serious burning question.
Burning question.
So, according to your own personal realization, that clearly Janan Prabhu was like flying on Guru Kripa. So, what is the means of attaining that Guru Kripa?
Prabhuji is mentioning what is the means of attaining Guru Kripa.
Like,
Actually, this is very nice because Janan Prabhu was there with Srila Prabhupada in the beginning. And then Prabhupada was not there with him all the time. Prabhupada is constantly traveling. And Prabhupada would come. There is one story where Prabhupada came to San Francisco and all the devotees were there listening to Bhagavatam class. And after Bhagavatam class was over, Prabhupada was looking for Jayananda Prabhu when he would come to San Francisco. And Prabhupada asked devotees, why Jayananda? So they said, Prabhupada, Jayananda Prabhu is washing pots in the temple. So then Prabhupada ran inside the kitchen to the pot washing area to meet Jayananda Prabhu. So the devotee was mentioning that, see the glories that Guru himself is running to the pot washing area to meet Janandro, that how like Janandro was dear to Prabhupada. Because Prabhupada saw that he has full faith. I mean, he gave, although it was 5,000, 5,000 is a big amount, but not like so big of an amount. Like Prabhupada is like dealing with unlimited amount of wealth. But then he saw the Janan Prabhu, like for him everything is Krishna. And his whole time and his own, and that time he left his cab driving and everything, and he would just serve Krishna. And he was not, he was a throughout life brahmachari from what I have heard. Uh, I'm not sure on this one, but that time he had no, at least when he was in the mission, he was full time alone serving Krishna. I asked this question to Kalakanta Prabhu. That Prabhu, I don't know what is Guru Kripa, I don't know what is Guru's mercy. And Prabhu mentioned when we try to engage ourselves in Krishna service, whether we know or we don't know, just that engagement itself is pleasing to Guru and Krishna. So it's just over a period of time that consciousness may develop. That if our service is pleasing to Guru and Krishna, we may not feel that we are pleasing to Guru and Krishna, but we are just trying to engage and trying to be sincere. Like it's a high platform to do everything for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. At least I am not there yet. But if our activities are Krishna conscious, then their mercy will come, probably, I think. But I haven't received any mercy so far.
So our activities are Krishna conscious in the sense our activities without being conscious, if it is Krishna conscious, still it will help me.
Still, Guru and Krishna's mercy is there. That's why we're able to do that.
But we are just doing it for the sake of doing without any conscious.
Yes, but Guru and Krishna are pleased because of the activities that we are doing, because those activities are pleasing to Guru and Krishna. When we are doing things which is pleasing to Guru and Krishna, although we may not realize, they realize. It is just like the holy name. Na? We are chanting for the sake of chanting. But Krishna is very pleased. We are not trying to please Krishna by our chanting because we may not be so advanced and may not have that consciousness this for pleasing Krishna. But Krishna is very pleased because we are chanting Hare Krishna. And it is said na, that the means and the goal are the same. Likewise, serving Guru and Krishna also. Whatever we are doing, that activity is pleasing to Guru and Krishna because that's what Guru and Krishna wants. We may not realize it, but that's what they want. They want us to spread, maintain the temples, or like chant Hare Krishna. We are doing what they want us to do, and so we are receiving their mercy.
Even if we feel it as a burden and because they are saying us to do, but we are still doing because we even if we feel it as a burden, but since they are asking us to do, we are doing it.
Yeah, I mean, feeling it as a burden may not be the best situation because, or let's say, we are doing it, we are enthusiastic doing it, and we may not be necessarily conscious of doing it for Guru and Krishna, but we are doing what Guru Krishna Mahaprabhu wants, but we are not conscious of it. Their mercy will be attracted. It will be seen not now but tomorrow, someday. But if we feel it as a burden, Prabhupada says, then we should focus on our chanting.
Prabhu, like this word burden, when we are into Krishna consciousness, by our will, by our, by our ichha, by our desire, then the burden may be like, it's not a good thing because, not a good thing to express. What do you think? I may be wrong.
No,
but like,
I think you understood what I'm asking.
Yeah, like one time, Srila Prabhupada, this word burden comes to my mind. And one time, Srila Prabhupada was giving a lecture in New Vrindavan. And Prabhupada said, this deity worship is wonderful. And you are getting a chance to directly serve Krishna, just like Shyam Krishna Prabhu directly offered, fed Krishna and welcomed Krishna through Aarti performance. So Prabhupada said this devotional service is wonderful, directly serving Radha and Krishna. And then Prabhupada said, but if your chanting is not good, then one day you will think, my Guru Maharaj had left this burden on me. And now I have these two and I just have to keep doing what they want. So Prabhupada did not encourage this word burden. But we may say that if we are like, if it's feeling burden, then one thing opposite to that is I'm grateful for this opportunity, or I'm enthusiastic to do it. And then I want to do something else and something more and more, and I want to keep myself engaged. But when we feel like, oh, once again, I have to do this, then Prabhupada says we can take some time to read and focus on our sadhana. Prabhupada said because sadhana will bring enthusiasm to our seva. So take some time to read, take some time to nourish ourselves. To read, to hear, to chant. Maybe chant some more rounds. Maybe early morning, more sadhana. And then when we feel enthusiasm, when we feel absorbed in sadhana, that will give rise to grateful bhav and seva. I mean, you all have way more, but for whatever reason you ask, which is inconceivable, I am answering for the benefit of
No,
myself.
I wanted to know because maybe now I am enthusiastic. What about later if I feel a burden? So I just want to know what in that situation what to do.
Yeah. It can be, okay, I'm getting exhausted.
Fried out.
Right.
Yeah.
Take some time for sadhana. Read what you like to read, hear what you like to hear. Take some personal space. Because if there is no personal space, like there is an example of an axe cutter. He was cutting the wood and he started working extra hours and he would cut less woods, less trees. And he even worked extra hour and still less trees. And then he asked, why is it am putting now all 20 hours? Previously in 8 hours I would cut 9 trees, and now 20 hours I'm cutting only 4 trees. And then he said, he asked, did you sharpen the knife? He said, no, I have no time to sharpen the knife because I want to continuously cut wood, so I'm getting paid more. Then he said, no, you have to take your time out to sharpen the knife. And then taking time out to sharpen the knife is taking time out to focus on hearing and chanting. And when that is there, then we'll be able to do a lot more devotional service, lot more enthusiastically. So we need to take that time. That's not like, that's a real investment from where it's like a fuel. Without fuel, we cannot run. Na? So it's like stop the car and put the fuel so that you can run for a longer mile.
And whatever we are doing only to get this
And the goal of our devotional service is become absorbed in our sadhana. Prabhupada says symptom of advancement is absorption. And that's the goal. And we don't have to do anything, we just have to enthusiastically serve. And absorption will come when Guru and Krishna wants. And if you have some question about how to become absorbed, you can approach Shyamananda Prabhu.
Yeah.
So he will tell you how he attained that absorption in devotional service.
No, bro, let's be honest. What I feel honestly is that whenever it happens, sometimes fear becomes a burden. It could be because of so many things, could be because of less
sleep, yeah.
But also I feel that the one thing which is very encouraging is when devotees become pleased. When devotees are genuinely express encouragement that they are pleased. So that is very encouraging. And to be honest, like it's true, like sometimes sadhana goes up, sadhana goes down. And sometimes because good sadhana, the mind is very, very, and then it goes down and may go down for a long time. Also, it's very difficult to attain that absorption. But what I feel is that if we try to please the devotees, if we try to render service with enthusiastic mood, then I feel that we can continue. And it's like there's nothing wrong. Feeling it's also a burden sometimes, because when you feel it's a burden, it's like you're stretching. No? You're going out of your comfort zone. So naturally you feel it's a burden. It's natural. Like if you're used to running 5 kilometers, you run 7-8 kilometers, naturally you feel like I don't want to do it. Right?
And the reason for me asking this question was you said that activity, if you do activity, still you'll get this. Because of that, I asked this question. But because I have always heard that this is not Krishna conscious, this is not Krishna activity, this is Krishna conscious thing.
But that has come by Krishna's mercy only. Even if I want to do the next service for the pleasure of Krishna, I will naturally be driven by some other motive than pleasing Krishna directly. But maybe as a part of duty I am doing, or this is my next thing, or part of routine that I am doing. But then by mercy of Krishna. Another thing on this, I remember Chandaboli Maharaj mentioned this here. Maharaj mentioned that one devotee was doing book distribution day and night, and he was away from association, and he was very much driven and enthusiastic. And then one day he happened to see some movie which didn't had like positive movie. He happened to see, and then he fell down. And then he became suddenly very weak and unenthusiastic. And when now he lost his potency, when he was distributing books, nobody was buying. He became more and more discouraged. Then he asked Maharaj, Chandrapali Maharaj, what do I do? I feel like I've lost everything, whatever I had. Then Maharaj says, stop traveling, go to the temple and stay in devotee association. And then in devotee association, when they were enthusiastic, they interrupted him. And then he slowly gained his strength, and then again he started doing book distribution. So it is also very nice that whenever we feel a low phase in our lives, which comes once in a while in all of our lives, situating ourselves in devotee association will give us some cushion to keep running, to give us some support or some fencing around us. And then we gain strength in that association, then we can share. His Holy Radha Swami Maharaj also says you go out and you preach and then you come back and then you gain strength in the temple by the morning program. And then you go out and then you share. Because when we don't have strength, what can we give to others? We give our depression to others. So we need that strength coming in association. All right, Prabhuji. You have your permission. If I spoke anything wrong, please forgive me as your humble fallen servant. Vancha kalpatarulisha kripasam to the evacha patitam bhavav vaishnava namo namo. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Jai Shri Prabhupada. Thank you very much for listening. Hare Krishna.
Shyamananda Krishna Prabhu ki jai. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Krishna.
much.
Like
Thank you.